Are you ready? Let's go!
Don't you sometimes just want to talk about everything? You know, there's days when you can just talk about anything. Need to sit back and chat about nothing at all? Nothing But Julie, coming at you with fun and creative topics and interviews.
Did you hear Julie's podcast? She's got the greatest topics.
Come join the chat about everything, anything, and nothing. So unwind and tune in to Nothing But Julie. Great topics and cool interviews with some pretty awesome people. And now, without further delay, here's Nothing But Julie.
Hello there, everybody. It is Julie Schrager, your host of the Nothing But Julie podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thank you so much for continuing to listen in. I am sorry I have been on hiatus for a short period of time. I went away on a very needed vacation. Well, it wasn't really a vacation. I went to North Carolina with my husband, and you know, it was somewhat stressful because it is something that's been planned for a while, and you know, it's really kind of hard to enjoy yourself when you're constantly on your phone on the GPS and you know, trying to get to places that you never heard of, and you're kind of in the mountains, and then GPS stops working, and you know, just lots of plans and lots of things to do. It's not like you're sitting around the pool with a pina colada. So, however, it was very much enjoyable. It was incredibly beautiful with the views. The temperature there on average was around low to mid 60s. And wow, what a breath of fresh air it was, because we live in Florida. So, you know, it's hot and humid still. So it was lovely. But I am back. And there is definitely something that happened while being on this trip. You know, being in the mountains and the mountain air and seeing the incredible views prior to the real cold of winter, late fall setting in, we were able to see the color changes of the leaves and be up at almost 6,000 foot elevations to see these incredible views. And we saw waterfalls, and it was when we were there, we were able to take it all in. And the views were so picturesque that it looked to me as though I was just looking out at a postcard. It was really unbelievable to see that this is, you know, part of our world. And it made me think about, wow, you know, not only how much I have not seen and how much I really want to see, but how to not take life for granted. And then, of course, it started making me think about my daily affirmations and maybe getting back into doing that. It's been a while since I've done them. And, you know, I was doing them every day as almost like just a habit. It became very habitual to wake up and choose an affirmation. What I did was I just got to the point where, like, I had a deck of cards, and I also had an app that gave me daily affirmations. And after a while, I just started to ignore them. But in the beginning, it was great. I did not always choose the ones that I wanted. I would just let them appear, or I would go through my deck of cards and I would just pick one out. And whatever that affirmation was, I tried very hard throughout the day to repeat it to myself and remember what I had read, to be, I don't know, more positive. And whatever the affirmation was, whether it was, just to breathe and enjoy your day, or make sure that you show some form of appreciation, whatever it was. I managed to keep it in my thoughts throughout the day, and it helped me mentally to view things a little bit differently instead of just like an everyday stagnant, work day. And so while I was traveling 10 hours back to Florida, I started looking back at these affirmations because I was in such a good, happy, relaxed state. And I thought, well, why not discuss these affirmations? Why not talk about if they really are worth it, if there's really something behind them? And so I am not 100% advocate for the affirmations. I would say 80-20, maybe 70-30. So why? Because I think that it's almost a false sense of reality. The 30% part. I think that it's great to have these affirmations because it really it's the way that it's worded that makes you think differently. So if you have an affirmation about, today I will be grateful. I mean that's a wonderful affirmation, but sometimes you're not grateful. Sometimes you don't. You could be in the midst of a horrible divorce, or something with your parents, or with a friend, or your children, or just something really bad going on in your life. And it is not always an easy task to insert affirmations. And the affirmation that you choose is not always something that will work for you on that day. So it's with that I said, let me just discuss my point of view and some research that I did. And it's all about kind of decoding some of the science that is behind these affirmations and how can they infuse positivity in your life. Like I said, I am 70-30. It doesn't mean, oh, well, I'm 30% not positive. No, I mean that it's not always on my mind to do daily affirmations. And no matter how many times people tell you, that they believe in affirmations, it doesn't mean that who they are is completely changed. They're still who they are. But you need a little tweaking to help you along in your daily life. So let's first talk about these affirmations and the science behind them, because everybody has negative thoughts. The question is how far, how far do they take it? For me, I do have negative thoughts. Of course, I'm human. The thing is, how far do I let it take me? Well, sometimes I can spiral. Sometimes without realizing it, I can be going through some form of negativity without realizing that I'm actually doing it at that moment. But then when I catch myself, that is when, that is when you pull out those affirmations, or the one affirmation, or ones that you've really enjoyed days before. I mean, it's a struggle to stay positive. There are people that are just born that way, and it's an incredible thing. But it's not easy for some, especially when our whole entire world is hitting rock bottom. So how do you do it? So what I had read on healthshots.com is that an affirmation is basically a nudge in a positive direction. It's a little awkward at first when you read these affirmations, or you hear these affirmations, or when you say them out loud for the first time. But it's almost like tapping in a way where once you start doing it, it actually plays a positive impact on your brain and your life. Excuse me. Your mind, ooh, it's an incredible, what is it? It's not a muscle. It's a body part, an organ. I'm not too sure what even the brain is, but excuse me. But once you get started on these affirmations, you will develop a mindset towards a more positive person. And there is neuroscience behind it. Self-help books, they always speak out, always, about how positive thoughts can bring changes in your life. And they're not wrong, because the science behind it, there was a study that was published in a social, cognitive, and affective neuroscience journal. And they revealed what happens within our brains when we actually use affirmations on a regular basis. And these researchers actually used MRIs to find that utilizing these affirmations on a daily basis can activate what they call the reward okay, I'm going to say this wrong. The reward centroventral stratum and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex in the brain. Simply put, these areas are the reward centers that have a response to pleasurable experiences. It's amazing how many different parts of the brain there are. So it's basically like the reward center of your brain. Like when you eat something and it's like the best dish you've ever had, or winning a prize, that's the part of the brain that these researchers did MRIs with. And what they said is that many studies show that these circuits in our brains can actually do things to dampen pain and help maintain balance in the face of threats. With that, they stated, practicing self-affirmation does help in activating those areas of the brain that makes you happy and positive. So yes, there has been neuroscience research done, and it has come out to be nothing but a positive thing. So when you think of things like that now I have said, hey, listen, let me tell you something. It works. There's science behind it. It's not always easy to start something, especially when, you're kind of questioning if it really is something that, can help. I mean, it's like these self-help books that, promote the power of positive affirmations, and like everybody else, we've all heard of them, but it's something where if you've never tried it before, it's almost like an awkward feeling to first start trying it. And, when you tell yourself, you're a wonderful person and you're great, and, you become very skeptical. And that's why it doesn't hurt to understand, how these affirmations have become so popular. And there is actually something from positivepsychology.com that tells you to download three mindfulness exercises for free. And it's a PDF that you can download. With that, there's also many, 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 many apps that you can download. Even the motivation quote app that you can download and set it to go off at a certain time to give you these affirmations. So when you, let's say, don't have time to go through a pack of cards, you have something in your hand that just basically shows up. But I want to kind of give you a definition of what positive affirmation is. They're positive phrases or statements used to challenge negative or unhelpful thoughts. Therefore, when you practice these positive affirmations, it becomes quite simple after a period of time. I mean, it's just picking a phrase and repeating it to yourself and remembering to repeat it to yourself. You know, without you, there is no family, there is no significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, uncle, aunt, mother, father, cousin, friends. And that's why you need to take care of yourself mentally. You can use positive affirmations to motivate yourself. You can use a positive affirmation to encourage positivity in your life, to boost self-esteem. And like I said, there is science. I kind of look at it as almost magic. I feel like I became lazy and stopped doing it. And once I started doing it again on Monday, which was just a few days ago, you know, it's just simple words that get through to you that make you realize, like, you don't have to be in the position that you're in, whatever it is. There is a key psychological theory that's behind these positive affirmations, which is called the self-affirmation theory. And again, this is from positivepsychology.com. There are empirical studies that based on the idea that we can actually maintain our sense of self-integrity by telling ourselves or affirming, you know, what we believe in positive ways. And the self-integrity relates to what they call global self-efficacy, which is our perceived ability to control moral outcomes and respond flexibly when our self-concept is threatened. And that is from Cohen and Sherman at 2014. It's a book or a magazine. So basically, we are motivated to protect ourselves from threats by maintaining some form of self-integrity. So what about self-identity? What about self-affirmation? There are 3 key ideas with self-affirmation. And they say here that through self-affirmation, excuse me, we keep a global narrative about ourselves. We are flexible, moral, and capable of adapting to different circumstances. And then we have self-identity. Ooh, that's a tough one because we're always looking to maintain our self-identity. It's very easy to lose yourself. You know, I don't think any one person really is truly themselves. I really don't. When you're talking to someone maybe that you just first met, you're trying to get a feel for them. Maybe they're friend worthy. Maybe they're just, you know, worthy of being an associate. But are you always 100% yourself? Or are you trying a little bit? You know what I'm saying? I'm 52 now. I don't try. I am just me. I just act how I am. I don't care anymore about what people think about me. I don't care anymore about, you know, ha ha ha, laughing at something that I don't think is funny. But I'm not going to be like a total bitch or have a total bitch face. You know, I might like have a smile on my face or whatever. But I'm just saying I am who I am. I stay true to who I am now. And self-identity it's not the same as having like a defined self-concept. So instead of viewing ourselves in a particular way, let's say I'm a wife or I'm a mother, we can be flexible and we can see ourselves having a different range of identities, which means that we can define success in different ways too. And that is a great thing because it means that we can view different aspects of ourselves as not being negative, as being positive. And this is from someone by Aronson. I guess it was a book in 1969. They're quoting them in Positive Psychology. But there's something else about self-affirmation, this theory that argues that when you maintain your identity, your self-identity, it's not about being this incredibly wonderful perfect person. We just need to be more adequate in different areas that we value. So when you think of the research and the MRI studies that I mentioned, it is even more useful to me thinking about the fact that, wow, this stuff really does work. It really, really does work. And so what really are the benefits? Let's discuss the benefits now of these daily affirmations. So it's been proven that when you do these self-affirmations, that they can actually decrease health deteriorating stress. So you see, it's, again, a little awkward at first. No one needs to know you're doing it. It's a great intervention with your physical behavior. It actually can help motivate you into doing the things that you just do not want to do. I hate exercising. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I curse the whole entire time I'm doing it. However, I do know it is something that needs to be done. And these affirmations actually help to motivate. And then let me just tell you, in the beginning, you can start with just one. I do more than one a day. I actually do one in the morning, and then when I know I need to go out and go exercise, I look for a specific affirmation that can really motivate me. It's not always an affirmation either. For exercise, for me, is usually a motivational quote to really get me started. And one of the things I do listen to is Mel Robbins, nobody's going to help you speech from TED Talks. I mean, wow, that gets me going. I listen to it as I walk to the gym. And I think that I had it on one of my podcasts, so you can look that up. But she really just says, no one's going to help you. No one's going to be there to push you to do things. No one is going to, be that person to get you going. You're all alone. It's all on you. But when she says it, when you come to the realization, oh my God, this woman is right, it motivates you in such a way to start doing the things that you just don't want to do. Well, back to the affirmations. They can definitely help us view otherwise threatening messages with less resistance. And they can make us less likely to delete harmful messages, harmful health messages. It's like I said, it's a bit awkward in the beginning, but wow, do they work. And these brain scans, the MRIs that discuss how these affirmations work, I mean, there's proof in the pudding. And you can do self-affirmation exercises. You could read something and just repeat it over and over. There's a lot of objective evidence that shows the benefits of self-affirmation. And the thing of it is once you read your affirmation and you kind of feel it, you repeat it, it's almost a subconscious form of mental health that just is like the Energizer Bunny, just keeps going and going and going and going. It's enjoyable to dwell on the things that we value. When we're feeling threatened by I don't know, let's some form of failure, let's say, when you do these affirmations, it reminds us that those things that we love about ourselves are completely separate from what you feel threatened by. Does that make sense? It kind of helps us to regulate our emotions. And wow, I mean, I'm all in with when it comes to that. So let's talk about if it really does work. I'm reading that it does. I've done the research, but does it really help? The question is it really worth it? And the answer is abso-fucking-lutely. If you don't start doing them, you're missing out. I value these affirmations. When I came back to them a few days ago, after not doing them for quite a long time, especially during COVID, which I really should have remembered, I to get me through some days of just constant just negativity between that and the politics. It's just, I should have, and I completely forgot about it, to be honest. There's a very simple mantra, which is, when we feel good about ourselves and we have a positive attitude, our lives tend to run a little bit more smoothly. And there are proponents of the law of attraction. I mean, I know several of them, especially, the older generation. They, well, I'm not going to get into it, but I believe, I believe in it. When we feel bad about ourselves and we have a negative attitude, we kind of become self-destructive and self-defeating. And these are really bad negative behaviors which can cause a negative outcome. You need to be a little more pragmatic and feel as though, you are able to utilize something that's really going to get you through it. If you just read a simple statement that is designed to create self-change, then I don't see any negativity. Will it work for everybody? No. Because it's the way that those people use them are looking at it. From the get-go, they're already negative about using it. And so it's kind of hard to get through that. However, these affirmations are written like in the positive. So when you read it, you should say it out loud. Like instead of saying like I no longer enjoy chocolate, you can say I am completely free from chocolate, or I'm a healthy person and I love how my body feels when I don't eat chocolate. There's also affirmations that have an emotional charge. You can use emotional words in an affirmation because there's some deep, deep association that we have with emotional words. You can say, or instead of saying like, I spend time away from negative people, you can say, I feel such love and I feel such gratitude spending time with those people. Or like instead of saying, I only eat healthy food, baloney, you can say, I feel alive and I feel vibrant when I make healthy choices. So, it's also a way of switching around the words into something that's a little more positive, And affirmations are written in the present state. So if you're going to write an affirmation, it means that, like, instead of, 2 months from now, I'm going to be happy, you can say, I am happy. I am confident. There's a way around writing these particular affirmations. And so because of that, it really helps in the genre of positivity. And who can't use a little positivity, especially in the world that we live in right now? There is a website, louisehay.com, all about the power of affirmations. And if you go to this particular website, it really discusses everything that I've spoken about. Saying affirmations. I mean, first of all, that's only part of a process. I mean, so what about the rest of the day? What's the secret to having those affirmations either work quickly or stay with you throughout the day? So you can look at affirmations as seeds that you are planting. And if you have poor soil, you're going to have poor growth. If you have rich soil, you're going to have abundant growth. So the more you choose to think, and I'm quoting, thoughts that make you feel good, the quicker the affirmations work. louisehay.com. Such a great website. Yeah, I mean, I could say think happy thoughts. I mean, it's simple to do. It's something that's doable. But the way that you actually choose to think, again, it's a choice. Yet you're not realizing it because you've had a certain way of thinking your whole life. But in that one particular moment, you can actually change the way you think. Remember, it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. It is something that you have to work on. But I truly believe that the more you do the affirmations, the more you stick to them, the more you remind yourself of them. Take a picture, take a snapshot to keep looking at it. I tell you, it's when you're in a particular funk at a particular period of time and you say these affirmations, it's almost like you literally just snapped out of it. It's almost kind of like hypnosis in a way. Excuse me. I mean, you can become more positive, empowering, and uplifting with just your thoughts from these positive affirmations. I think that they are an ideal tool to train your mind and reverse negative beliefs and self-talk. To me, there's nothing better than being able to do this. So let's talk about where to get these affirmations from. Well, like I said, you can go on to your iPhone if you have an iPhone, and I'm also sure you can go on to if you have an Android. And there are tons and tons and tons of apps that you can download. Also, there are people such as my sister who created a deck of positive affirmation cards. You can come up with your own, or you can just go online and Google it. What I like about the apps is that, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, you can choose a time or times, and they will automatically pop up as a notification on your phone. And bam, right in front of your face is your positive affirmation. If you want to, you can always contact my sister or DM me or reach out to me, and I can let you know about these amazing cards that my sister came out with also. And I think that she recently as well came out with a new set of cards. I'm actually looking them up as I am saying this right now, and I'm not too sure what they are. But what I can tell you is they are really incredible affirmations and meditations. And she also has a kids deck. And I just think it's honestly worth it for everybody to maybe, just think about it. I understand that it might be something that you might be like, this is not something that I can do. There's no way. But you can. And if you really need to make a change, why not? I mean, I understand that it can be a bit unappealing, maybe, or maybe where you're just kind of like one of those people where you're like, yeah, I don't think so. I was that person. And I have to tell you, it really does set the tone for the day. So if you go on to my sister's Instagram, she's Groovy Chick Art. She has these new cards, guided relaxation and meditation cards. It's a sample deck, but she did come out with these cards that really are incredible and can help you when it comes to affirmations. So, what I would recommend you do is maybe get a deck of cards or download an app because they really can help boost your mood throughout the day. So, with that, I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and stay positive.